Hello friends. Welcome back to the channel, Movies Fast Forward. Today I will be discussing with you a mystery thriller movie story called Flowers in the Attic, released in 2014. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. It's the 1950s. The upper middle class Dollengangers, father Christopher Sr., mother Corinne and their 4 children, teenagers Christopher Jr. and Kathy, and twin adolescents Corey and Carrie, love each other as a family should. Although Kathy, who has a special bond with her father, doesn't like the fact that her father is away at work so often, which will be even more so with his recent promotion. Their life changes when Christopher Sr. is killed in an accident, leaving the family devastated and heavily in debt. Christopher Sr. and Corinne perpetrated this upper middle class life for their children's sake. Having lived largely on credit, Corinne, who has no money or job skills, goes searching for friends or relatives who may take them in for the short term. 4 months later, Corinne announces to the children that they are going to go and live with her wealthy mother Olivia, in Virginia, who the children did not even know existed. Olivia is a wealthy and religiously fanatical mother. Corinne explains that she was estranged from her parents and changed her last name because of this. Children were confused, as they suddenly had to leave their present life and go live with their grandparents. But Corinne convinces the children. They board a train, and upon arrival, there is no one at the station to receive them. They walk from the station to their grandparents' house. On arrival at Foxworth Hall, Corinne's grim, claustrophobic, and cold-hearted mother, Olivia, takes the children to a small room in the attic. Corinne explains that her father, Malcolm, disowned her for eloping with Christopher, who was actually her biological half-uncle, her father's younger half-brother, and they were disinherited. She promises the children she will make her father forgive her. Once he has forgiven her, she will introduce him to the children, and they will live happily together at Foxworth Hall. The next day, the children are given a list of rules, and Olivia tells them to stay in the attic at all the times. Olivia will come once a day to bring them food for the day, and the children are to hide in the adjoining attic on the one day of the week the servants come to this section of the house to clean. Corinne's visits to the attic become less frequent as she begins to enjoy her newfound wealth and starts a relationship with her father's lawyer, Bart Winslow. She informs the children that, while her father has forgiven her, she cannot let them meet him, because she claimed that she did not have any children. Thus, they will have to remain in the attic until Malcolm dies. Corinne's visits all but cease during the next year. Due to lack of fresh air and sunshine, the twins' growth is severely stunted. Meanwhile, Kathy and Chris are entering puberty. Chris accidentally walks in on Kathy while she is trying on her first bra. Olivia catches them and calls them sinners and tries to cut off Kathy's hair as punishment. Chris stops her, but she threatens to starve them for a week if he does not cut Kathy's hair himself. Kathy and Chris refuse to comply. However, Kathy awakens to find tar in her hair the next morning. As Chris reluctantly cuts her hair, he tells her that he finds her beautiful, but knows it is wrong to think of her like that. Another year passes, and Corinne has not visited in months. Kathy and Chris conclude that their mother has abandoned them, and begin planning their escape. When Corinne does return, she happily announces she has married Bart, and the reason for her absence was her honeymoon in Europe. She is upset that the children are not more excited, and seems oblivious to the deterioration in the twins. Olivia soon brings the children sugar-powdered donuts, which she says are a gift from their mother. Olivia beats Chris with a belt, after he demands to be called by his name rather than boy. Kathy tends to his wounds and admits her fear of losing him. Chris assures her nothing will happen to him, and they kiss. When Olivia comes to deliver their food, Chris tells her that she was right about them being the devil's spawn, and pleads for forgiveness. After she leaves, Chris reveals the whole scene was a scheme to get an impression of the attic key and soap, and he carves a wooden copy. Now able to leave the attic, Kathy and Chris begin to steal money from their mother's room to finance an escape by train. On a night raid, Kathy finds Bart asleep and kisses him. Chris later overhears his mother and Bart talking about a dream of a young, blonde-haired girl coming into the room and kissing Bart. Chris angrily confronts Kathy, who assures him that the kiss meant nothing, and she only did it out of curiosity. She kisses him, and they end up having sex. Kathy suggests they move to Florida, and Chris tells her that he loves her and can never love anyone else. Carrie suddenly announces that Corey isn't feeling good. It becomes obvious that Corey is seriously ill. Kathy tells Olivia and Corinne that Corey is sick, and demands her mother take Corey to a hospital, threatening revenge if she does not. The next day, Corinne tells them Corey had pneumonia and died, and has already been buried. Devastated by Corey's death and in fear for their lives, Kathy and Chris decide to take all the money they have collected, and grab as much jewelry as they can, and escape. During their search for valuables, they discover that Corinne and Bart have left Foxworth Hall. Chris overhears a conversation between the butler and a maid, and learns that Olivia has been leaving poison to kill the mice in the attic, and that their grandfather died 7 months ago. Kathy shows Chris how Corey's pet mouse has died after eating a piece of powdered donut, revealing that the poison was in the powdered sugar on the donuts. Olivia then comes to take their key, and Chris restrains her long enough for Kathy and Carrie to escape. Olivia chases after them, but panics due to her claustrophobia when Chris shuts the door and turns the lights off. Olivia tells them that their mother was the one who poisoned them, not her, but they ignore her, and climb out the window, fleeing on foot. During their escape, they run into the butler, who realizes they are Corinne's children. Horrified, he tells them to run while he cuts off the electric fence for them. They board a train to Florida and Chris assures her that their ordeal is finally over. Kathy vows revenge on their mother. And the movie ends here. So what do you guys think of this movie? Please let me know in the comments below.